Hey, buddy, Thomas here. We're going to talk about that machine. It's going to be a compilation of a lot of videos into one. I don't want to bore you to death with the intro. I'll do like a conclusion at the very end, so stay tuned for the very end. You'll see some stuff there. But this is one heck of a machine. I'm going to show you it. See some nighttime driving, some towing of like 500 something pounds in the back, hauling out logs, doing full speed runs across a field, not a road, a field. So real world situation stuff with stuff in the back. I got like 100 pounds of feed in the back and some other stuff. Not just like, okay, we're going to take this on a light, roll around the park. We're actually going to work this thing hard. So stay tuned. It's a great machine. It's a mix between some sport and some utility. And it's made by Kubota. I mean, that's a pretty dang good name right there. And I'm very impressed. No regrets. Stay tuned. Here we go. Everybody, Thomas here. The Kubota sidekick. We've really put this thing to work. Right now, as you see, I have about 500 pounds of feed, and manure, and mineral salt, and all sorts of stuff. As you can see, our A apparently was delicious to the goats in part of the K. The side-by-side is a real tool that we use around the farm. We've been needing one for a while, and we finally went ahead and got one. But so I just wanted to show you kind of what this thing can do under a load. So again, about 500 pounds. There's 50-pound bags of alfalfa, the 50-pound bags of other seed type of things. We've got goat pellets. We've got salt lick. We got the manure. So I have not even done this. Just gotta make sure these dang dogs get out of the way. When you start it up, you gotta wait till that temperature light, which just came off, before you switch it into gear. There we go. Sorry, I tried to do it with the wrong hand and I couldn't get my motion going correctly. Alright, dogs. This again has a 50 horsepower 2-cylinder Subaru. And we're just, kind of scooting along, no problem. Or we can really move. So 25 with 500 pounds of gear in the back. I just hope I don't lose. Nope, still all back there. Do my little loop that my son does with his four-wheeler. Next to the wood lot. Dogs. Turds. Dogs were what held me back. Or did they? So, 30 miles an hour with a load in the back around my kids' four-wheeler track. Woo, doggies. Yes, she will move 500 pounds of stuff around the yard with some speed. So really all I need to do is move the manure to the garden, a total of 100 yards, but why not make it do a loop? So the performance on this thing is quite impressive, and I'm pretty sure that was a lot of movement as I was driving around. This is a fantastic side-by-side. I kept everything back here. Didn't lose anything. It's good. As you can see though, the suspension, there's still a lot of travel there. That is a beefy suspension setup. It's not like what you'd find on a typical four-wheeler. And even some of the side-by-sides. This thing is some beefy suspension. I haven't really towed anything with it yet. We've only had it now for I think about a month or so, but it does have the receivers. I take it back. I did tow our little 2-horse trailer around, and again, you couldn't even feel it. And that thing only weighs maybe 1,000 pounds. But it'll get up and go. It's hasn't been taken out to the property up in Tennessee yet. That'll be the real, I guess, torture test for it, because we've got a mile-long driveway and we've got all sorts of things we can pull around with it. I need to see if I can go and hook the sawmill up to it and pull it around. Not real fast or anything, but just show that I can do a proof of concept, which I think I can. The only thing is the receiver on this is so low. I think it would probably be best if I you know, reversed it and have it where instead of being a drop receiver, it'll be a lift. It'll go in the inverted direction. The other thing is, we take this out a whole lot with the family to go get dewberries alongside the railroad tracks and stuff like that, and it does great with that. But you do get some heat buildup underneath this deck, so I added this mat here. You know, you're not supposed to have kids in the back, but our kids always get in the back. Having that mat there will help keep some of the heat down. There is a heat shield underneath of it, but it still gets pretty warm. Well, hope this has been helpful. We've really enjoyed this piece of machinery on the farm, and I don't know if I'll keep this video as a whole or if I'm going to edit it and take tidbits of this, but overall, Kubota Sidekick, been very impressed. My wife's been very impressed. This has been her machine, and we really put it to use here on the farm. Not really torture testing it, but just put it to use here on the farm, and it's been a great addition, helping her get a lot of stuff done on the farm. Thanks. Hey everybody, Thomas here. And this just shows you how bright the Kubota Sidekick headlights are. Get these dang dogs out of the way. These are some bright headlights. They are LED headlights. Okay, so now we're on log number 2. The first log, as you can see, we literally dug a trench all the way out. This second log here is one, my four-wheeler made it to here, and that's all she would do. So again, now we're gonna hook it up to the Sidekick, the 850, and pull it out. So four-wheel drive engages really easy. You've got two-wheel drive, you got four-wheel drive, really easy. And there is a differential lock, just like, well, if I get to it underneath there, just like you'd see on a tractor. So I could press it down with my foot and have a differential lock. I have not had the need to do that thus far. Again, put her in low gear. Hard to see with this LCD screen. It just, there you go. But yeah, she's running nice and smooth, low gear. And again, just taking on this technical trail. Boys are behind me this time. But the main reason why we got this is for a few reasons. We looked at the diesel model, and then we looked at the gas models. Well, the fact that this one could do 42 miles an hour and it gets there like lightning fast allows us to travel a lot of ground quickly, say like on our property up in Tennessee. Now our property up in Tennessee, the driveway just to get to the house is a mile long, like literally a mile long. And the diesel variant, unfortunately, it's not that it's governed or anything, it's a hydrostatic transmission, and therefore it is limited to 25 miles an hour. That just was not going to cut it for us on our property up in Tennessee. Now here in Mississippi, we really don't get over about 16 miles an hour, to tell you the truth, for the most part. But I like having the ability to go over and help neighbors, you know, wrestle or rile up some cows if we need to, and I get there in a hurry and help them out. So he's got a John Deere 800 or 8 something Gator, and it's a great one. But this one right here, I will say, it's got a little more get up and go. It is a newer model. That's got something to do with it, but this has been a fantastic machine for us. We don't have a whole lot of hours on it or miles. We've only got 92 miles on it. I think we bought it with about 15 or so on there. But it has been awesome. My wife, myself, the kids, we've all really enjoyed having it. We use it a whole lot on our road, main road and everything, going down the property, or bad trying to get between load or reverse. We use it a whole lot by the road to go pick up trash and everything. So my kids are in the Scouts, and it's really good because we can just throw the kids in the back, you know, make our way down the road, around the railroad tracks, and pick up trash. So it's good. Let's see if I can get over here. There we go. All right, so I have towed out 3 of these monster logs. I say monster, they're not real big, but they're big enough for, you know, side by side. So much so that I could probably get, maybe get 3 with the tractor, maybe probably 2 safely on the forks. But overall, me not knowing where my shifter's at, very happy with the way this machine handles, and that power steering is awesome. That is something the neighbor wishes he had on his. But yeah, so 2 logs really easily pulled out. The 3rd log again over there is what I pulled out last time, and the smallest 2 logs I was able to get with the 4-wheeler. That's about all she would do. So if you're looking at one that will work hard, this is one might be a contender for you. Whenever we were looking at side-by-sides, we were looking at the Pioneer 700 as well as the 1000, but the 1000 is a bit out of my price range, and we were also looking at the Polaris Ranger. I'm trying to think what model it was, 900 I believe, or the, is it 570? But really, at the time when I bought this from Kubota, they had some great incentives if you paid in cash. There's a lot of off on this one, and it was a 2018 model. So I mean, the deal that I got on this was just hard to beat. I got this over at Toomey's Equipment over off of 63. I guess they're technically in Loosedale, but they're really close to Barton. But yeah, great service, real easy transaction. You know, they had it cleaned up and we picked it right up and put to work ever since then. I'll throw in some more videos with this, like I said, do some speed runs or something like that. And, you know, again, if you're looking for a UTV or side-by-side that can have fun on trails as well as work its butt off, this might be one for you, because the only thing that really I wasn't too fond of was the CVT type transmission. I really liked how the Hondas had the actual geared transmission, but this thing actually does have some power. I had no slippage of the belts, as you saw there, and I am pulling quite a load, and we were hitting some stumps here and there, some root clods. So, you know, there was no slipping. It ran like it should run, and I was very happy. All right, so I'll throw some more in here, so stay tuned. All right, folks, we are back out here on the Kubota 850 Sidekick, and I need to show you, I'm sure you've seen videos of people doing top speed on a paved road. Now I'm out here in the neighbor's cow pasture. One of the things that this is kind of, I guess, modeled towards are ranchers who need to get up from one point to another point on their farm quickly and potentially, you know, wrangle up some cattle. So I'm going to show you kind of the acceleration of this thing and what it can do in a real world situation, not a paved ground. There are some bumps, and there are some, believe me, I hit one of the bumps just a second ago doing 39 miles an hour. Woo! Kind of jostled me around a little bit. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out how I can hold this camera. What I'll do is maybe I'll keep the camera up high. We got a beautiful, you know, cumulus nimbus way out there in the distance as we get some storms up there, but I'll keep the camera up high here, and then I'll shoot down to the actual speed here in a second. All right, so again, I've only run this one time, and I know to veer away from that side, I'm going to take those tracks right there, because I hit one hell of a hole. It was jarring, to say the least. So here we go. So 0 miles an hour. I got about 37 as fast as I saw going across there. Now that's impressive. It's not smooth ground, it was bumpy. try that again. I don't have a whole lot of running space, but I got a little bit. I told the neighbor I wouldn't tear his field up too much, so here we go. $31, $33, $36, $37, $39, $40, $41. Come on, baby. Woo, $41. Before I had to get on the brakes. Now that's going across the field. That it's not the easiest ground to go, so I'm gonna get a little more of a run, see if we can hit the true 42 miles an hour. Woo! I don't think I'm gonna get this direction. I think all she's gonna do is 37 that way. You know, it's fun to have fun. I'll get a little more run up on this side here. The goal is 42 miles an hour. Right, here we go. Come on, Bessie. I just run out of real estate before I can get up to it. Oh, and it doesn't hurt to say that I have stuff in the back. I actually have goat feed stuff in the back. Not bad. But we'll go to a little bit, I guess, gentler ground situation and see if I can show you the 42 miles an hour. But hey, this is real world. I mean, there's no holding back. Like, let's see what it'll do across a bumpy field where I can feel the back end getting a little bit loose on me. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the camera for a second. We'll head over to another field, a little bit softer area, and go from there. So here we go. Okay, so the road that I was gonna go down, unfortunately they are bush hogging right next to it, and I don't wanna be the guy running up and down next to the bush hogging. So we're gonna try right here next to the railroad tracks. We've got like a little four-wheeler path. We'll see if we can do it. So here we go. I'll have to look back at the video to see, because I actually had to keep my eyes on the trail. In fact, I'm gonna head over to the neighbor's house here and see what they are up to and check out the video over here. So here we go. Well, folks, I kind of feel like an idiot. Apparently 42 is not even an option. 41 is what it does. And I just looked it up online. It actually says 40 miles per hour. It's top speed of this sidekick. But as you saw across the field and on the little four-wheeler trail, we actually got 41 miles per hour. So I guess that's good. We got 1 mile an hour over, but I could have swore I've seen 42. Maybe I saw 42 down a hill one time. Who knows what. One other thing I'm gonna show you, when you're in drive on this four-wheeler, and say you put the parking brake on, and then you try to go, oh, it lets you know said parking brake is on. So that's a pretty neat little feature, I guess. So you won't accidentally drive with your parking brake on and wear out your brake. It will actually let you know what's what on that. So again, this Kubota sidekick is pretty much the perfect combination between work and play for us. It's not a speed demon. I mean, 41 miles an hour, that's quick, and it gets to there really quick when you're in high gear. But the utility aspect of this is really where this thing shines. So I think I show a video. I'm going to do a compilation of a couple of these videos and everything. There will be with weight in the back, with towing a load, all sorts of stuff. This has been the workhorse for our farm, and we've used it quite a bit. I have not yet taken this up to Tennessee. That's the next goal, and that'll actually be a real test for it, because we have a 150 acre farm up in Tennessee a mile-long driveway, and that will be a really good way to put this thing to the test. So if you're looking for a side-by-side that can kind of play as well as work, this is a pretty good option. The price point was perfect for us. We were looking for anywhere between as low as, I guess, a 570cc up to 1000cc side-by-side. And there's a certain price point where I was trying to stay under. So when you went to the Honda and you tried to look at the 1000 or 900cc, it kind of was over the price point. And if you look at the Polaris 570, it was a little bit below the price point. So this is a good mix. The 850, I mean, was it 49, 48 horsepower, lots of torque. The suspension, I've talked about this before. I mean, just very beefy suspension, very beefy frame, ample seating capacity. Now, I'm a big dude, 300 pounds, 6'4". I'm not a small dude, and I fit in there very well. The tilt steering wheel is really nice because between my wife and I, we can both drive this, no issue. The seat does not slide forward or back, but I do have clearance and my knees are not on the dash, both in the passenger seat and the driver's seat. The steering on this is a dream. Pretty much any time when I'm driving this, I'm operating this one-handed. It's just like a car. The steering on this is as responsive and smooth as what you'd see on a vehicle, like a true car. Let's see, what else? The bed, I think I did talk about the gripe in my earlier video. The heat shielding underneath of this, in fact, I'll go ahead and open this up. The heat shielding underneath this may be lacking a bit. Only because I use this for what it's not supposed to be used for. And I'm sure there's other people, I'm not the only one. There we go. I put my kids back in here. So you've got a little bit of shielding here with some plate, but then on the bottom here you have minimal shielding right there, and it's really thin. I think that probably could have been beefed up a bit in order to mitigate the transfer of heat from here to the bed. We are gonna continue using a mat. I don't have the mat in there right now, but if I put my hand on here, that would be uncomfortable. I mean, that's about as hot as when you grab like a hot cup of coffee. That's pretty dang hot. So that's one thing that probably could have been, I guess, beefed up on. And then my other little gripe, I would say, would be the responsiveness of the throttle. I guess one way you can mitigate that is keep it in low gear when you're going slow. But if you are in high gear and you're moving around, literally the responsiveness of this throttle, it is so touchy, it just wants to get up and go. I don't know how else to put it. You'll have to drive it and see. It's not bad. I mean, a lot of people really want that, but you know, I would like it if it's a little bit smoother for that responsiveness. But other than that, those are really my only two gripes. I mean, all around, I'm extremely happy. I have no regrets buying this for my wife. It's been perfect for our family. So, hope this has been enjoyable. Hope I have actually been able to show you what this thing can do. I didn't show the braking power of this, but the brakes, if you look at the speed runs when I'm going through the field and everything, it'll stop pretty quick too. So much so, you know, when you don't have your seatbelt on, which I don't ever do. Yes, I didn't have my seatbelt on, but when you don't have your seatbelt on, it will actually want to throw you kind of forward. This thing will kind of stop pretty quick, which is impressive for the weight that it is. Overall, like I said, no regrets. Very happy, very capable machine. We use it all the time, pretty much, for hauling stuff. So, again, good all-round mix, work and play. Very happy with it. We'll see you around. Thanks.